Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Echo, Season 1, Episode 1, Chafa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, I'm probably not. I'm really excited for this series. Echo, Maya, was a very interesting character in the Hawkeye series, and I'm excited to learn more about her. I feel like it's been a long time coming this series, or it's been about a year. Disclaimer that I have not seen all of the Daredevil series on Netflix. I mean to, I just literally never get around to it. And I am not a huge expert on Kingpin and things like that. So things will be very new to me as it comes, but I am very excited nonetheless. Also, this show will be classed as a currently airing show. I have like currently airing and then like patron shows. I know this show has all been released on the same day. I'm just going to be watching it once a week as though they were airing one a week, because that's how the other Marvel shows have been. So if you are interested in my unedited reactions on Patreon, this one will be classed as a currently airing show if you are sure which tier to go for. And yeah, let's go. Not sure what's going on here, but I would like to know. What's happening? Where are we?
The first chapter's name.
Okay. I thought it could be something like this.
They're gay.
I wonder if that's based on actual real mythology.
No, we're cousins.
It'll be better in a few days. Ancestors whispering in your ear again.
Is the bird a bad omen? Oh dear. Yes, this is where I felt like this was going. A lot of tragedy in her young life. They're always going on an errand that the kid requested as well, when this sort of tragedy happens in an origin story. It's never just, oh, Mum was going shopping. It's Mum was going shopping because I needed something. Oh, Maya. Such a happy childhood.
I found out who cut the brakes. They're taken care of.
Oh, you think that makes me feel better? That another family is now destroyed? Begged her not to marry him.
Yeah, I wondered if the brakes were cut when they weren't working. I don't know enough, but I was like, maybe it's just the car just malfunctioned, but no. Because of course he was already into the criminal shit.
Boys are no good. You took her from us. You.
All right, I think it's time to go.
No. It's time for him to go.
Oof.
Before someone else gets hurt.
I understand why she's angry, but
I will never forgive you for this.
your sister made a choice to marry someone that she knew was tied up into those things.
Where? New York.
You can't be angry at your sister that's dead. I presume sister. But you can be angry at him. And I get it. You don't have anything to be sorry for, sweetheart. It's always the kid that needed something in these backstories. Oh, you can't lie to her face. How can you tell her when she's just claimed it was her fault?
I go too.
These poor babies. The kids are completely innocent in this. Your sisterhood can survive distance. Though I suppose it'll be difficult if the families are like cutting ties. I do think every school should teach sign language. I mean, in an ideal world, there would be a universal sign language. I know that isn't actually practical, but every country should teach sign language. Forget teaching French, Spanish, English, sign language. Yeah, some of this is repeating backstory that we already know for anyone that didn't see Hawkeye, which is completely fair enough. Because to get the fullest understanding of Maya's character. It's also a refresher for people who are maybe more casual fans. Okay, she's still in contact with Bonnie, that's good. So she wants to be caught to get his attention.
Let me help you release this rage in a more constructive way.
I know which path she takes, but your father wanted better for you.
Go in there, shoot people. You cool?
exactly what happened to your father you're going to do to somebody else's father.
Kingpin thanks you for your loyalty.
I know Maya obviously gets involved in this world, but this is exactly the kind of thing that happened to your father. And exactly what your father did not want for you. First time she's had to really put these moves into practice. Into action even. Out of practice. And the rage she's been feeling. Let it out. Hope he didn't have a daughter waiting for him at home. I don't need a gun.
Nice job, kid.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
And then you guys show up.
Not. I mean, I wondered if he'd be in it, but I actually didn't know for sure. These fights really feel like dancing between these two. Because it kind of shows you that they're fairly evenly matched, they're both extraordinarily skilled.
Have that now, with me.
Yes. The man responsible for your father's murder.
No matter what.
Thank you, Uncle.
This is the opposite of what your father wanted for you. Even if he died, like, he wouldn't have wanted this for you. Even if Kingpin wasn't ultimately behind her father's murder. Like, it's not what he would have wanted. But you can exactly see how she ended up here.
Good.
And a very bad person, however tragic her backstory is. I really enjoy how they're weaving in the scenes we've already know with scenes we have no idea about.
Lots.
But also, how many people has she killed, and how many people are out there with vendettas against her? Like, she did just end up in the exact cycle that she was raging against, and the exact cycle that he did not want her to be in. And a very good job of weaving in the story, her story that we already knew, with new information, and it makes her much more understandable. Though obviously this is not a story about a person who has lived a wonderful life and is just a true hero through and through. Oof. I don't think that's the healthiest way to try and deal with this. In a way, I'd say that's the metaphor for her childhood innocence being utterly destroyed. All innocence and innate goodness tarnished forever. I still think she can redeem the mistakes she made. Because life didn't give her many options, though she still had other choices she could have made along the way. Is it Bonnie? Probably not Bonnie.
If my grandma finds out someone's squatting here, there's gonna be hell to pay.
Or was it the boy cousin? Or
Maya?
okay, so that was a grandmother and it was her daughter that married his father.
Good to see you.
So what's it gonna be?
I just have an innate distrust of this actor. He is always evil. I'm sure he's a very nice man, but he's evil always.
I don't think we're bombing you today.
Gretchen's are. You didn't see her? You will break her heart.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if she's worried she might bring danger to her, or is she just worried that it would be too hard for her to leave again?
I won't bring a war here. Kill the people I love.
I don't blame him.
Who love you.
Okay. Currently no plans to break away from the criminaling then. Maybe she'd do things differently. I mean, after everything that she's been done against her, I do understand how she's come to this place. but she's also had a lot of other choices along the way. Whereas with them hunting her, it's kind of kill or be killed at this point. Oh good, he's still alive. I was really concerned he was dead. And you did always promise Maya she could kill the person that killed her father. If I was her, I really would have shot him multiple times, knowing, like, who he is. It would have been like bang, bang, bang in the head, so he could not possibly survive. Okay, I loved that episode. Again, I don't think this is necessarily going to become one of my favourite shows currently, simply because Maya is not necessarily the best person ever. I mean, I like that they really did I think they did a really brilliant job with interweaving bits of her past that we knew, bits of her story that we knew and had seen, with new information, with further exploration. You can kind of see how a girl that has been put through so much, losing her mother, being ripped away from her family, knowing her father was a criminal this whole time, but him saying, I want better for you, then seeing him die, like, I can, and then finding out that the person who then you've been working for and took you in and called you family, and your father called family, betrayed him. Like, I understand what drove her to this point. I would have liked for her to be a little bit more, like, good. I don't know. I mean, I suppose at this point, if she says she wants to be queen and do things differently, not just kill people willy-nilly, I would potentially be more supportive. Obviously, I still like her over Fisk, but like, I think it's an interesting. I'm not again, I'm not against the show. I'm going to enjoy it, but like, I think it's definitely a very different take for the kind of more recent Marvel series. In that, obviously, a lot of them have been delving into the grey areas. They haven't always been about people doing only good things, but I feel like they've for the most part been about people trying to do the right thing now. You know, we had, like, in Hawkeye, we had through Maya a lot, Clint dealing with the fact that he had done all those terrible things, but in this day and age he was trying to do better, he was trying to fix his mistakes, and he even tried to get through to Maya that, like, you are like me, you are letting your rage control you. And you know, this episode, all the flashbacks really hit home to me just how many people Maya put through the exact same pain she is currently going through. And yes, she was being used by Fisk, yes, she was being betrayed and manipulated, but if she's choosing to continue to perpetuate that cycle, it's not good for anyone. And it's kind of, it's just very interesting to see her at this point. Now, I'm not writing her off. I think as a character, there are still 4 episodes of the series. I think it's a one-off series, I don't know. She could very well choose to turn a new leaf, to decide that she's just going to dismantle the Fisk Empire, though realistically, even if it were dismantled, other people would just come along and take its place. I wonder whether Daredevil's going to be in it again, or whether that was just like a little cameo moment. But in general, I think it would be I think they've set it up for Maya to be kind of exploring who she is, why she is the way she is, and what she actually wants for herself. You know, we've seen her sort of happy childhood. Then we've seen her father saying, I want better for you. Her father trying to tell her to go, and I think he meant more than just go and don't die. I think he meant to, like, leave this life. And her choosing instead to cling on to it even harder because it's kind of all she's known. She has her cousins, tangible people that she could hold on to that are in the normal world, that are good. Bonnie in particular, who is still reaching out to her, they are still in contact. There are things she could cling to that could bring her to doing better in her life, or this could be a show about somebody taking over a criminal enterprise, which I would still enjoy, don't get me wrong, I'd still support her over Fisk, but she wouldn't become like a favourite character that I super rooted for or anything. So we're at an interesting turn of events to see where Maya's character and the plot goes. And I don't spoil anything for me because I didn't watch the coming up this season and I haven't watched any trailers for this. I'm going in as blind as, like, all other than having seen Hawkeye. Now, Maya is a fantastic character. Like, I'd be someone who likes villains as like a favorite character or whatever. Now, I don't think Maya is currently a villain. I think she could very well become one, and I do think she is the villain in some people's stories, people that she's killed the family of. But I do think she is an extremely troubled person who has been through an intense amount of time, and if she chooses to do better, she could become a favorite. As things stand, I'm like, Maya, make better choices. I am really intrigued with where the story is going to go, especially as there are only 4 more episodes, and a significant chunk of this episode was spent going over territory we'd kind of already covered. Some of it was new information, some of it was in more detail, and I'm not complaining about that. I really enjoyed the flashbacks, but then I'm thinking, like, this is a 5-episode series. a lot is going to be happening in the next 4 episodes. And I don't think they're like super long. They're not short, but I don't think they're like an hour and a half long episodes. So I'm really intrigued with the direction the story is going in. The acting was all fantastic. I'm also really intrigued with the beginning, with the flash, or seeing the kind of origin of her people. I'm not hugely well versed in Native American mythology. It is not taught. Um, I know I've heard like a few stories, and I assume each sort of tribe has their own version of those stories. And I do not know whether Maya's story is based on like a real Maya's people are based on like a real Native American tribe, or whether they are indigenous. I think. Is it I'm sorry, Native American I think is okay, or whether it is kind of a sort of mythologicalized version for Marvel. I don't know, but regardless, I'm intrigued to see whether there is going to be some kind of impact in that, because obviously we had her grandmother sensing something was wrong. She saw the bird that had been with the woman that saved them from the cave. She sensed something was wrong on the night that Maya's mother died. Maya had that dream where she saw like the first woman, and then she saw like flashes of women throughout history, it looked like. So I wonder how much of there is going to be kind of ancestors and like kind of them being a part of you, and how much of that's going to be a thing. If there's going to be a thing like Maya has powers because of the woman that held the cave up, or if it is going to be something more simple, like, which is still not simple if you know, I can't think of the right word for it, like Maya just honoring her family and honoring her ancestors and kind of taking on the bits of them that she has learned, that there isn't only darkness in her, that there are also all of these incredibly strong women who have survived through impossible odds just like her, and she can come out through the other side of it. So I'm really excited for this show. It was a very, very good first episode. First episodes of shows are always nerve-wracking for me to react to, because I'm like, what if I hate this show? I didn't love Secret Invasion as a show as well, so I was like, what if Marvel's just going in a direction that I'm not like here for? But I really enjoyed this episode. Again, I think like where this show will rank in terms of like my Marvel shows, I don't know that it's going to be like my top one currently, but that is simply because I don't know that there's going to be like a person that I'm going to be like, that's my favourite, I'm rooting for them. But I do root for Maya, even though she's doing bad things at times. We will see. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon. It will be classed as a currently airing show, and thank you so much for watching.